The World Healing Tour Movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world. Hi, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joyful life. I am also the author of a great book called The Grass is Greenest Where I Am, because the grass is greenest where you are when you say so, when you live in a place with no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity, when you learn to live in your own love and light and share your unique gifts with the world, because that's why we're all here, to be able to share our unique gifts. That's why it's World Healing Tour, because when we heal ourselves, we can truly raise the consciousness on the planet and make this world a better place for all. That's why I get to bring incredible guests each week to pour into you. And today I'm super excited about my guest. Her name is Ka, and she is from Brazil. She has been in the United States for a long time now. She's a realtor and has been on her own healing journey to be able to help others as well as grow herself. So Ka, I'm so excited to have you here on the World Healing Tour podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, and it's really an honor even more for me because we've known each other now for a little while. You've come to a lot of the Holistic Chamber events that I do because I'm also the president of the Holistic Chamber event.
Yeah.
And so I know you're very drawn towards healing and towards the healers because it seems like you thrive around that energy. Why is healing to you so important?
Yes. Great question. I think I tried to live life by my own ways or the way I was taught and the way that the world told me how to live, and it wasn't working. I could feel it, in my gut that I could be better, that I could find a better self for myself. And it was to be honest, I was really guided towards healing. It kind of felt like I didn't even have a choice. It was just from nature, and opportunities came up. Great people that I've met that was put in my life, you'd say by accident, but I don't really believe it was by accident. So, yeah, just really seeking my better self. And then I think once I got to that place, I could give better to the world as well. So, yeah.
I love when you say that you're being guided because I created this jewelry that reminds you every day to have a grateful heart, be grounded in love and compassion, and be guided by God. So guidance to me is a really important thing because I believe, like you, that nothing is an accident and we're always being guided. The key is always to learn to listen, right? Because in order to be guided, we have to be good listeners. Have you always been somebody that's in tune to things or listening to what's around you or the messages that come your way?
Yes, I do feel like I've always been into like a good listener. The problem was I wasn't really sure what I was listening to, like, or who was really speaking. Like I think it was, and it's actually something I've been practicing this week, just really be aware of who is talking. Like for every little thing that I do in my day to day. Even to come to this podcast, there's that little voice of like, oh no, you shouldn't do it. You're not good enough. Or like, what are you to tell people, how to live their lives? And then there's that side of me of like, just do it. And just, you know what I mean? Just that trust. So yes, there is a big part is really to listen, but really just to trust and like be very mindful of what are you listening to and what are you really paying attention to. But yeah, I definitely love that you brought that up because it's a huge deal.
Yeah, and what it sounds to me is that you have that fear that comes up inside of you that says maybe, like you said, I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy enough or there's somebody else that could do it better than me, right?
Yes.
It's that conversation we had. And you were saying, so this week, are you working kind of like not always listening to that conversation inside of you that come, or like these voices in your head? Because what I've learned a lot through life is that we do have the mind can be delusional, right?
Absolutely.
And it can actually take us out of the game and take us to dark places, right? And so it's at the constant struggle of the light and the dark within us, and learning to where the guidance comes from and what to follow and what to say no thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then this comes because so my church does this 7 days of prayer and fasting. So you choose something that you fast from that is not really serving you. So I've done, a little bit of social media before, or sugar, or something that wasn't serving my body. And then this time I was like, okay, what is really something that is like not really assisting me through my day to day? And I realized it's like those little voices. So I was like, I'm gonna fast from those lies. I'm going to not listen to it for a week and just see how it goes. Um, and then it's just really like choosing what feels good and what doesn't, when, yeah, the fear is there, the doubt is there, and it's always going to be there. But it's like I have a choice. I can listen to it and be afraid, or I can choose to be like, well, what if not? And I think is I just been learning so much beauty in the world and within myself by not listening to those.
That's so powerful. And one thing I have learned in my life a lot is to learn to choose,
Hmm.
because life, everything is choices, And I always say, like, you make your bed and you sleep in it. Like, we bring, sometimes the wrong energies into our lives, which I recently did. So we have to be so mindful because we're human beings. We're going to fall, we have to learn to get back up, but to learn that thing to choose,
Yeah.
to me, is like, you get to choose. You get to do it your way.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it the way your parents did it or the way someone else did it. It's your journey, but definitely, look at everything. Look at everything. And I love what you said about, fasting, getting rid of something, and you chose to get rid of those lies that are in your head, right?
Yeah.
Telling you that's really, really powerful.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, it's funny when you were mentioning about the book, and then it's some another thing like the healing. You always look for other people to find the right way to heal, or even with faith. When I go to church and compare myself to other people, how do they do church, or how do they do religion or faith? And then it's sometimes what works for them doesn't really work for me, and then there's that shame of like, oh, I should be doing that, or I shouldn't be listening to this type of music, or I should be wearing this or that, and it didn't feel right. So I love that, when you mentioned the book, it's like about your grass, like what kind of fertilizer is good for your own grass, what kind of lighting do I need, when do I need to cut my grass, there's so I really love that idea that we all are in our unique paths, and we all need our own unique care. And yeah, so I'm very excited to read your book
Oh,
actually.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like learning to nurture ourselves and our lives, and not always think it's better somewhere else. Because how often do we look somewhere else and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, they have it so much better, or they're so much smarter. You know, I love to learn from other people
Mhm.
because I feel, and life goes by so fast, right?
Mhm.
It goes by so fast. So I love that you're like young and so wise, because
Thank you.
it's the decisions you make today that will really create where you are when you're 60, or where you are when you're 80. And it's not about, like, you can always change and do things better, but it flies by.
Oh,
I can
thank
tell you that. So you really need to be mindful of what you choose today and what you're doing today. And that's part of why I wrote the book,
you.
is
Mhm.
because I was looking for the path of least resistance.
Oh yeah.
So everything in the book is about how can you create more flow in your life? How can you have less resistance?
Mhm.
How can you choose to let go, maybe forgive something, so that you don't have to suffer later? Because we
Yeah.
do a lot of suffering, right?
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of self work. And what I learned is that in a lot of times, suffering is optional. We can
Yeah.
actually, we don't have to suffer, right? A lot of
Yeah.
suffering is done here in our mind, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's what I wanted to teach, is the fact that we have a choice, because everything that I've done in my life has been by choosing differently, or
Mhm.
making a better choice that will serve the future for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, no, it is so true of suffering being a choice. It's really a mindset, it's really like focusing. I really believe that us as human beings, we really focus on the things that we don't have, and I think that's really what causes suffering. And it's something actually I went through a breath work experience, and there's this message that came to me. It was about, this started from the beginning of time with, I don't know if you believe in Adam and Eve, where God was like, here's your garden. You can have all of it. You can have everything you want. You have power over the animals and everything, but that tree. And then we were like, okay, this is great, but what about that tree? So it's like, and that's when the suffering really started. And it was when we are seeking, like, not the things that we have and provided. And it's just always looking for what if, what about that instead? And yeah,
That's a powerful story. Absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break from our
yeah,
sponsor, and we'll be right back. I love this conversation.
same. Thank you.
World Healing Tour 2 2024, October 20th at the Wyndham Hotel in Boca Raton. We are looking for vendors, for sponsors, for speakers. If you want to be a part of this, go to noahcrane.com or click the link below. And we are back with Ka. Such a great conversation, Ka. I love what we're talking about. So the other day, and it's true, we always think the grass is greenest somewhere else. We just do. It's just human nature. This is embarrassing. But the other day, I was sitting eating a waffle with my son, and I was looking over at his waffle, and I'm like, his waffle looks fluffier and thicker and better.
Yep, I feel that
I
way.
really did. And I literally told my husband, I'm like, I don't know, like his looks so much like fluffier,
Yep.
And my husband's like, you're so silly. Like, and it's like, it's like our mind will take us places, right? It'll just, it just, I don't know how we come up with it or why we think that instead of, and one thing that I've really come to lately that has really, and I know you're going to love this, okay? The gratitude, right?
Oh, yes.
It's so huge because part of us thinking that it's better somewhere else is we're not grateful right that moment for what we have.
Yeah.
Right. Again, going back to comparison, right? Going back to competition, going back to all those things, and I say, if you're not grateful, you may be regretful.
Wow. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I'm going to give you another really cool story. I know I'm talking a lot today, but
No, please, I love
really
this.
this is really great. You need to hear this, you guys. This is embarrassing too. But I was in a car accident recently. Thank God everything is good.
Yes.
But I love my Tesla. I have a Tesla car, and I love my Tesla, and I'm spoiled by it because you don't need a key. You have your phone. It opens and closes with your phone, and so now I have a rent-a-car. And now I have to go to a gas station. I don't like going to gas stations, all right? I don't want to be spoiled, but I don't like gas stations. I really like charging my Tesla right in front of my house. Okay, so I got used to the convenience of having a Tesla, and I was so grateful for my Tesla. But then my Tesla was in an accident. Now I'm getting a rent-a-car. The rent-a-car is a Cadillac 2024 CT4, beautiful car, right? But I don't like it.
Wow.
Okay? I don't like the Cadillac because I have to go get gas. I have to carry a key with me, which I'm very forgetful. And I know I keep leaving at places. One time I went to a juice bar and this lady put my key in her purse because it was on the counter, okay? Wow. Yeah, and the only reason I knew is because the camera caught it and they found it. But the thing is that I wasn't really grateful for this Cadillac. Guess what? And I'm not going to go too much into the story. The Cadillac got stolen while I was driving it from my driveway this week, okay? And I was like, damn, I should have been more grateful for the Cadillac.
Now I really want the Cadillac.
Like, why was I not grateful? I miss that Cadillac so much. Give me back that Cadillac. Oh my God. And it's like, and that's why I was like, oh my God, like, Noah, you should have been so much more grateful for this Cadillac. This was a 2024 Cadillac. And you're like, not liking it because you have to carry a key and you have to go put gas in it. Come on, let's get, know. So it's just, and it really made me realize, like, we have to be so grateful. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I kind of had the same experience, and so for example, with my AC, like I don't know if whoever's listening to this been to the heat of Florida, but when you don't have an AC in your house in this heat, it is like I cannot even explain. But so yeah, I didn't have it for like a week. Was able to finally get someone to fix it. And I've never appreciated that AC so much. Every time I hear it, and I remember like the noise being annoying to me and was like, oh, I just love the sound of that AC. So like little things like that. And even like small things now, and it's something that I've been practicing a lot at night. I actually get excited to do my prayer and then just thank God, just do a rundown of everything that happened in my day and just saying thank you for everything. And I just realized how many things there are to be thankful for. And an example with, putting gas in my car, I've struggled financially before where, couldn't even put gas in my car. So those struggles made me appreciate those things like a lot more. And sometimes, we were even talking about the suffering, right? That like it's a choice, but sometimes I also believe that the struggling and the suffering, it is a way for us to learn or grow, or there's something there
To
for
wait,
us
to
to get in.
awaken, right?
Yeah,
To awaken.
absolutely.
But it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's exactly what you're saying. It's like change your perspective, change your
Yeah.
life. You know, when Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change,
Yeah.
and it's so true, right? Because you have something and you might not appreciate it. You take it for granted that the garbage man comes and collects your garbage,
Yeah.
and guess what if it didn't happen? Your garbage starts smelling in the garage and the house starts smelling. And it's just like, it's these little things. It's like we need to be grateful for everything because
Yeah.
everything that we have right now can be taken away in 1 minute if we're not
Yeah.
grateful.
Yeah, and it's also something, most of the things that we've had, we wished to have at one point. And then I always try to think like a little kid, when I know, even my car, like I remember like, oh, I really want this car. And then I got it. And now I see it every day, like after years, and like, yeah, it's my car. Like, wow, I was so excited when I had it. Everything like a shirt, a dress that we buy, and we're like, I can't wait to wear that dress. And then after you wear it for a few times, it's like, oh yeah, it's that dress again, So it's like just looking at things of like, wow, like at that childlike, remember when you first had it and how excited you were about it. It really changes how you live your everyday.
Yeah, I thank God for everything. Like all day long. I'm like, thank you for getting me safe from here to here.
Yes.
Thank you for my husband. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for Kyle. Like all day long. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just the gratitude that keeps you moving forward, keeps you feeling good in your life, keeps
Yeah.
you in a place where the grass is greenest where you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes you feel very blessed. Yeah, when you start really counting of how much you're provided for every single day.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really, really does. And how, as I know on your own healing journey, you've also gone to some healing retreats. Can you talk a little bit about how important is those things that you do for yourself?
Yeah, I think it was again, it was like random how they came in my life. It's just in that flow, and then suddenly, like I'm in Costa Rica with women that I've never met
I
before. Now
love
we're
Costa
sisters.
Rica
Oh,
so
it's so
much. It's
amazing.
my favorite.
Yes, the energy there is just it's beautiful. Um, yeah, so I think those things really taught me how to really learn about myself because I think during my whole life, I was all about go to college, get the next highest paying job, move up on the company, move up on the company, like go just that was my structure like of how I'm supposed to live life. And those things really taught me like, hold on, like let me take a look at myself. Like, do I really enjoy this? Because I was going to work every day and I was unhappy. It felt empty, and I see a lot of people, a lot of my friends that are doing jobs that they're like I'm just not feeling it. I'm just not happy and they don't know why. So I think those retreats or, just any kind of like self-reflection is good to just realize like is this me? Is this really what I want? Or is this something that my parents taught me to do? Like my dad was very into the corporate world and I just looked up to him. I was like, oh, this is what success looks like. This is what a successful, adult will look like. So I'm gonna follow those steps. So yes, I definitely think that doing that self healing and that self discovery is very important to really find like what really makes you happy.
Yeah, I love it that you say that. And so, would you say that's the pause? You kind of pause your life and go. Do you do like meditation and things like that as well to be able to kind of pause yourself during the day?
Yeah, absolutely. I suffered through anxiety and depression for a long time. I was on medication for a while, and I now I'm not on medication anymore, and those moments of anxiety and depression still come, and those are usually the alerts for me of like, okay, there's something going on in your body, there's something going on in your mind that is making you feel down or something, like let's pay attention to it. And usually it's something very simple, like a meditation that shows like, okay, you're sad because XYZ, and then just give myself love during that time. But yeah, meditation is very important to me. I don't do it like in a routine way either. Like, okay, every day at 7 a.m. I'm meditating, because I also feel like there's also a lot of pressure on that, and just doing as like a flow. Like what feels good to you that day.
So when you feel you need it is when you do it,
Yeah,
usually.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. All right, we're going to take one more commercial break from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. The Grass Grows Where I Am, an incredible anthology book that we are bringing collaborators together. This book is about wisdom, resilience, empowerment, and enlightenment. Do you want to co-author with us? If you do, go to noahcrane.com or click the link below. It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
And we are back with Ka. Great conversation, Ka. So we talked about being able to pause in our life and go inwards and know. So you kind of listen to yourself, you listen to your body, you know when you need it, and that's when you take the pause, and that's good. That's great too. So you're in the listening of yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we are. I truly believe we're all little kids inside an adult body. And it's so beautiful to treat ourselves like the little kid that needs the compassion, that needs the love. And we're just so harsh on ourselves, like the days that some of us like, oh, I really want some chocolate, or I want something sweet, or I want to do something like, oh, this is not good for you. But just like listen to that little child and just comfort it, once in a while. Um, yeah, I think there's just so much beauty in that, and just really taking the time and being mindful of what are you telling yourself and what are you doing for yourself.
No, that's great, and that is so important, right? The conversations we have within our head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I said I have a quote that I learned from this education that I did, landmark education. Have
Yes,
you done
yes,
that?
yes, I have.
Yeah. So that's amazing work, right? And they say being in your head is
Mm-hmm.
like being in a bad neighborhood,
Yeah.
and it really is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is so much growth out there. There's so many tools. There's so much you could read to do better and be better. It just you have to be a seeker. Would you say that you have to be a seeker to be able to grow yourself? It's not just, it doesn't usually just happen on its own unless you
Yeah.
have some really, you fall really low and you have to get back up, but you have to seek it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not easy, like I think the other thing that it's hard, for people that want to start doing some self-healing. It's not all like butterflies and wonders. Like it
It's not
sucks.
butterflies. It's not butterflies and rainbow, you mean?
No, no, not
No?
at all.
Oh.
That grass will bring some, some creatures you may not want to see.
Well, because you have to look at yourself,
Yeah.
and you have to look at your own darkness and your own, your own ugliness, because
Yeah.
we all have it. Like we all have, that dark and that light, and like it's the self work. It's the deeper you go in, sometimes the harder it gets. Would you
Yeah.
say that's what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what usually keeps people from doing any kind of work, like therapy or even having a conversation with someone. Is just like it is scary to get there. It is. But I promise you, there's just so much beauty on the other side. So much fulfillment, And of course, you can live a life without it. You can keep going, doing your routine and doing your, like just what you've been doing for like your whole life. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that there's some beauty to actually like opening up and looking in and looking out in a different mindset from a different point of view.
Yeah, and it gives you a lot of fulfillment in yourself, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of fulfillment because at the end of the day, what do we come here to do? We came here to live a purpose, a purposeful life, and also figure out what our purpose is, right?
Yeah.
We all do all kinds of jobs, all kinds of things. The way you're speaking, I know you have a much bigger purpose that you haven't maybe gotten to yet, but you're here peeling away and figuring it out,
Yeah.
because I feel at the point where I am in life, like I'm doing God's work. Like I'm here to bring the transformation and be that stand for it
Yeah.
for the world. And I had to go through all the different jobs and all the different things until I got to the place that no, this is not why I'm here. This is
Yeah.
not, there's a bigger picture, that there's a bigger, I'm a messenger. Like I'm here to deliver this message to the world. I'm here
Yeah.
to, we're all here and we're all doing our part. But I'm just saying, as we get older, I just feel like we keep peeling those layers away where we get closer to our true essence and truly
Yeah.
like what our purpose is here. Because
Absolutely.
we are guided by God,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to be guided. If we're not guided, then we're closed off. And when
Yeah.
we're closed off, we're not going to receive all the gifts that the universe might have for us,
Yeah.
And it's not just financial gifts. It's just when you change your mindset, you really
Yeah.
do change your life.
Yeah. Totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is so great. I want to ask you, have you also been through some traumas and things that have gotten you to where you are?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Many, I would say. And surprisingly, for me even to say it out loud, I am thankful for all of them. Um, yeah, but absolutely.
Yeah, I figured because you have so much depth to you that
Thank you.
I'm sure that you've been through stuff that have really gotten you. And I love that you said that you're grateful for them
Yeah.
because you can't change the past. You can only change the future or
Yeah.
change the present moment. So why, wallow in the past? So I
Yeah.
love that you've overcome so much and now you've changed yourself to be
Hmm.
able to move yourself to where you want to go.
Yeah. And I think, and of course, like, at the time when those things were happening, I was not grateful at all.
Of
Trust me.
course.
But yeah, I think it took me to go to a very dark place to look for some kind of light. I don't think I would be doing any of this self discovery or this healing, seeking healing, if I didn't feel like I need it. So I had to go through a lot of not necessarily good things from my eyes, to really say, okay, I need to do something to heal that. So yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. And I would definitely, next time, maybe we could talk more about that and
Sounds
what
good.
you've been through, because I know that, your healing journey is going to help so many other people out there to
Yeah.
look at themselves and their own healing journey. So, would you say, like, don't hold grudge? Just let it go. Learn, get the therapy, get the help, get what you need so that you can move forward. Like, don't hold the grudge. Be grateful. You get to a place where you can be grateful for it. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. And it's not easy even to be grateful. Some days I still wake up and, like, with some situations that I've been praying for that haven't been answered. It's so, and I have a very good relationship with God. Like, I was like, all right, God, like, it's been a while, like, and just having fun with it too. Like, I think God's love and his presence is more of like a father than that, like, authority, like someone sitting on, like, on a throne just telling me, like, do this, don't do that, like, feel this way, don't feel this way. um but I forgot even what what you're asking, but yes, I definitely believe in that. Just not being so harsh on yourself. You talk about, like, the holding the grudge, but it's just really do it whatever feels right as well. I wouldn't enforce it either. A lot of people is like, oh, I must go to therapy or I must do this. Like, this is the right way. It's just like, take one small step. Have one conversation with a close friend. Have a close conversation with your parents, a sister. Just, and I think God will put those people and those conversations in towards you. Like, it can be random. Like, someone at a grocery store is like, start talking about their problems and, like, why are they talking, like, to me about this right now? And then you talk, it's like an opportunity for them to talk about you, and that there's healing to that as well. So take advantage of those opportunities of healing and opening up. And yeah.
I love that. I love everything that you had to say today.
Thank you.
Everything. And I call those people messengers that come into your life and share a message with you.
Hmm.
And God always, I believe in God. So I created this jewelry called the 3G Effect. Reminds you every day to have a grateful heart, to ground in love and compassion, and know every day that you're guided by God. It's a 3G design with a heart in the middle. It's called the 3G Effect. So I totally, believe everything you're saying. So how can people connect with you, Kai, if they want to work with you? I know you're a realtor.
Yeah.
Where do they find you?
Yeah, I have Instagram. It's Kavaz, Kahvaz. And yeah, just reach out to me, or I love, and if there's anything that I said that maybe someone needs some more clarification or would like to talk about, definitely volunteer myself to have those conversations.
Well, thank you. This was so great. So enjoyed
Thank
having
you.
you. I want to thank you for joining me today on the World Healing Tour podcast. Until next time, remember to have a grateful heart, to ground in love and compassion, and to know every day that you're not alone on the journey. Rather, you are being guided by God. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Namaste.